Well, hello everyone, welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV on PlayFrame and the actual conclusion to the Ivalice Raid series. Apologies for underestimating the length of these quests and saying the same thing 2 episodes in a row. Let's get back on the Prima Vista. We've got tidings to report. We still don't know how to get to the jungle. We thought we had a lead, but then that left town. If it is as you say, it is most unfortunate. But I suppose we did everything in our power, and that is all one could ask. I still do not understand. Why would Lady Fran send Derman on this wild Paisat chase if she knew from the start it would be for naught? Bwagi mentioned something about Fran proving a point to their leader, whomever that may be. People in positions of power can prove both naive and stubborn creatures. Simply telling a leader she's wrong might not convince her of the fact. Seeing one's own plan fail, however, is oft the best medicine. It's interesting. They do seem to be suggesting that Princess Ashe is alive and well in this world, as opposed to being dead, as they suggested earlier. Which also kind of tracks along with Final Fantasy XII, where Princess Ashe is sort of like, doesn't really fake her own death, but lets the world believe she is dead for a while. Anyway, naive and stubborn, then the Resistance is doomed.
If a person as imposing as Fran's taking orders from her, then chances are this leader is even worse, Kupo.
I would not be so certain, Montblanc. My guess is that the individual in question is still quite young and inexperienced, and that Lady Fran is simply trying to teach her to be an effective leader through example. By allowing her to make her own mistakes, Fran is granting her the ability to learn and grow from them, an experience that will ultimately benefit her when the time comes to make some truly difficult decisions. Now, I seem to recall reading that one of the many faces of the Resistance before the recent quelling was a young girl of royal blood. Do you suppose? You may cease with your baseless presumptions, defector. Oh, it's you. You may cease with your baseless presumptions, defector.
The door was open.
Welcome aboard, then. Could have saved us a lot of time. And you would be... I would be here on orders from the leader of Lentes Tears. Against my better judgment, mind you. Greetings. Lady Fran, I presume? I am Genimus Sen Lexentale, principal of the Majestic Theater Company. You and your colleagues are most welcome on the Prima Vista. What is it your leader would have of us? While you failed in meeting even a single of our demands, she recognizes that you are sincere in your efforts to see them fulfilled, and for that effort you are to be compensated. That is most generous. And good to hear, we did not have a plan B. The ruins which you seek are hidden behind a waterfall here, a point roughly equidistant from the river's source and its delta. You have our thanks, Lady Fran. We'll not forget this kindness. Father, I shall plot a course immediately. Ramsa? What is going on here? Alma, you should be in bed. I've slept enough, brother. Tell me, who are our guests?
It appears you once again prepare a leap into danger's maw. Keep your wits about you, Derman. Lady Fran is strong, but then again, so was Bagamnan. If you'll excuse me.
Are you mad? A trip to the surface in your condition. Listen to me, brother. The High Seraph beckons. She speaks to me through the Otias. The what? There's no need to worry. Mikoto and I have already devised a plan. I can help clear our family name. The Charlian has no say in this. I am your father, and I insist you remain here on the airship. What would your mother say if I allowed aught to befall you? Mother, that is what this is all about, isn't it? What it has always been about. You care not about Ivalice or the Oran name. No, you only seek to use the Oricite to bring Mother back. But you haven't been able to do that. You still do not understand how exactly it is that the shards translate one's desires into reality. That is where I can help. I can ask the High Seraph. It's she who created the Oricite. Ultima has bid me come to her place of imprisonment. If we free her, she'll reveal unto us the secrets of her creations. Do you hear what you're saying, Alma? Even if there was the slightest chance of bringing Mother back, we cannot risk your life in doing so. Your brother's right. We have sacrificed too much already. I cannot bear the thought of losing you, either of you. It's too late. I'm so lonely, Father. Why must you love Ramsa more than you do me? Do not be cozened by your daughter's words, for they are not her own. Help me, Rams. Alma! No! No! God's forfend.
I told you. No one can control the power within those shards. No one!
Derman, here, take this. It might be the only thing that can save Alma, but we must hurry to the monastery. Okay. What button do I press? Come. We leave for the Gulmore jungle. Now. I'm gonna. Give me a minute. Don't rush me, boy. All right. So, everyone doing okay here? I've been such a fool, and now I've lost my daughter. Will you ever forgive me, Tia? Maybe I should give you a minute. I cannot believe what I just witnessed. I won't believe it. I won't. There. Didn't happen. Oh, it's that easy. I have good news and bad news, Derman. The bad news is that it appears the High Seraph was able to employ the Odious as a catalyst to propel her magics beyond whatever seal she's trapped behind. The good news is, this means my device should function as intended. Its design is based off of one of Moonbreda's. It repurposes the logic behind her etheric siphon into a means of disrupting ether flow by reversing common wavelengths, and let us just say it has already been calibrated to match the energy emitted by the Odious. As long as Ultima continues to wield the Odious, we should be able to interfere. But it only works if we can find Alma, which is why we must make haste. I suppose we should, huh? All right, only one or two more. Was the power I sensed beyond the rift, was that the High Seraph? I can only assume.
I told her this was a mistake, and now look what has happened. If you were wise, you'd toss all the remaining shards into Hell's Lid and cut your losses. But you've no more wisdom than Bagamnan, and that's why the High Seraph's already won.
Well, yeah, with that attitude, Wagi. Come on. Have I your permission to depart, Derman? Every moment we tarry here, my sister, she... But yes. Of course. Then hold on. I've set engines to full speed. I guess this is as fast as this particular airship goes, huh? not to be critical. Welcome to the land of my people. 'Twould be a poor lie if I said I did not miss it some. Alma! Ramsa, help me. Alma! Use the thing! Begone! Alma! Ramsa! Blood of the invokers, fulfill the ancient covenant and grant unto me the vessel promised. What just... Bwagi, to me. The girl is not well.
Might I suggest we continue this back at the Prima Vista, Kupo?
I guess if we're bailing that you're already running. Okay. Oh, hello. Have you the courage to face true evil?
What are you gawping at? The ship is this way, Kupo!
Well, that didn't go especially well for attempt number 1.
I will not see the same fate that befell Bagamnan befall young Ramsa. We must do something, and quick.
I concur.
The device should have worked. Is Ramsa gone because of an error in my calculations?
Listen, I don't think any of us can be blamed for not fully understanding what's going on or how to fix it. First Alma and now Ramsa. What does this Ultima want? If a magic rift was necessary to seize Ramsa, then it's quite possible that Ultima is still incapable of traveling beyond the bounds of the Orbonne Monastery. However, if Auracite is all the High Seraph requires to do so, then we are in grave danger.
Now Ramsa's gone. Dearest Tia, what have I done? What have I done?
Well, don't panic. Just give me, I'll fix it. Just give me a little bit. Genomus is crestfallen at the thought he might never see his son again. See if there's aught you can do to put his mind at ease. We need to do something, but what recourse is left to us? The only means we had of protecting ourselves could not even prevent my son from... I'm sorry, Genomus. My design was flawed. Not necessarily, Charlian.
We all saw how it succeeded in drawing Alma back from the rift and shattering the Otius. The loss of the boy is not yours to bear. Our focus here should not be on our failures, but what we have learned from them. The being beyond the rift, it spoke before claiming Ramsa. It referred to you as the blood of its invokers. Could it be your ancestors are responsible for Ultima's summoning?
Most certainly not. I've discovered no such inference anywhere in the Durai papers. Besides, tales of the High Seraph existed far before even the earliest of Evolution legends.
Then who exactly did summon Ultima, and why does she think them your kin? Look! I have a bad feeling about this, Kupo.
Oop. Me too. Hang on. Ramsa dead. You lie about as well as you carry yourself in battle, Orin. I did not say he was dead, my Lord Delita, merely that he had abandoned his mortal vessel, entrusting his ethereal soul to the Orosite. But why would he do such a thing? Peace is finally come to Ivalice. There's not to be had from further sacrifice. The kingdom is won, and this victory is as much his as it is mine. He risked life and limb to shield me from the dark that would have seen me perish. Without him, I'd not be standing here before you. It is my duty as both king and colleague to see him saved. Knights, to me! We ride for Orbonne. My lord, wait. Ajora Glabados, first of the Zodiac Braves, was not the hero the Church would have you believe. He betrayed Mother Hydaelyn for the promise of coin and power, summoning forth a terrible evil from the depths of the celestial abyss. It was believed only one of the land's chosen, only a warrior of light might stand against this threat. Yet, while victorious in battle, Ramsa was unable to see the darkness vanquished. If failure was all that awaited our warrior of light, then what chance do you presume any other might stand? Are you saying I should do nothing, then? No, my lord. Ramsa is. My brother's final wish before he surrendered to the Ether was that his name be struck from the annals of history. You're unhurt, but I was led to believe none but Orin returned from Orbonne. What is this you speak of your brother's wishes? When it became apparent that we were powerless to truly defeat the High Seraph, we chose the only path left to us. To do what Hydaelyn herself did countless centuries past, imprison Ultima. And, as you are aware, my lord, a prison is only as strong as the seal on its gates. Ramsa sacrificed his body to ensure that the Angel of Blood would never again walk the land, and he believed that if people knew of this sacrifice, it would only inspire them to seek out the holy stones and repeat the mistakes of those who come before. If you truly avouch yourself his friend, then you will honor this, his final plea. No, Ramsa should not be forgotten. He should be raised up as a hero for his deeds and claim his rightful place at my side. Only he might be my knight gallant. He is gone, my lord. Before Ramsa was your friend, before he was my brother, he was a warrior of light. He did what he did for Hydaelyn,
and for those who would one day, too, heed the crystal's call. Claim the throne, my friend. Become ruler of Ivalice and restore peace to this war-torn realm once and for all. Wait, Ramsa, don't leave me, please! I beg of you! You'll make a fine and just king, Delita. See you do not stray from that path. Ramsa! The stones in these two necklaces. You're certain they'll guide the heroes of a new era to Ramsa. 'Tis what Ramsa wished, my lord. Oren, I do not believe I can bear another farewell this day. Will you not reconsider my offer to remain as a member of my court? 'Tis but a matter of time before the Cardinal and his Temple Knights grow wise to my past. I would not have my presence here implicate you as well. Ramsa beseeched me strike his name from history. But like you, my lord, I could not bear the thought of future generations blind to the truth. As such, I penned this chronicle of the hero's journeys. I fear the world, however, is not yet ready for the gospel contained within these pages, nor would the church ever allow its circulation. In fact, I believe they'll confiscate every existing copy and lock them away in their library. And what better way for the words to remain forever preserved than in one of the most highly guarded vaults in all the realm? Then, one day, when the church has fallen out of favor, the chronicle shall be discovered, and truth shall prevail. I must admit, your plan is intriguing, Oren. But once the church learns it was you who penned the chronicle, your life... Boy, that was a heck of an echo daydream. Derman! 'Twas the echo, wasn't it? The removal of Ramsa's name from the history books, the Durai papers, the pendants, it was all set in motion by Oren himself. And if the Liberator's visions are to be taken as fact, it also appears we now know what the High Seraph meant by blood of my invoker. She was not speaking of ancestors in the sense of actual kin, but the line of those chosen by Hydaelyn to serve her as warriors of light. What a neat way to tie these two stories together. But then why abduct Ramsa, or even Alma? Unless there's something you haven't been telling us. She was using us to lure Derman. It's his vessel the High Seraph desires. Matron's teats, Alma! How long have you been awake? Glad you're feeling better. I've been a fool. I I told our leader that it did not matter if our request for aid was refused, for I had an alternative ploy.
General.
It's all right, Bwagi. My intention was to claim one of these Auracite in the name of the Resistance and use its power to lay waste to the Garlean occupants. Only now do I realize how flawed my ambitions were. You mean this whole time you were playing us for fools? Why didn't we see it earlier? Never trust a woman with ears longer than mine, I always say. You've every right to be angry, and I apologize for misleading you. But believe me, I no longer have any desire to deceive you and yours. I shall see you to the Orbonne Monastery, and ask not in return but that you let me join you in your rescue of Ramsa.
I'd be thrilled.
Do not misunderstand me. I do not do this for any one of you. I do it for people in both Gulmore and Rabanastre. People who may die if this High Seraph is allowed to return to power.
Seems like we're getting pretty close to raid time then. In fact, we're at raid time then. Great. Fantastic. Any last little words here?
It pains me as a father that I'm powerless to save my own son.
Dermot, I've asked much of you these past moons, but naught is more important than what I ask you now. Please, find Ramsa. I'll try.
If your vision's true, then not even the Zodiac Braves, warriors of light themselves, could defeat the High Seraph. Are you certain we should not just allow Ramsa's seal to endure? No, that would mean abandoning Ramsa, but then what options are left us?
Maybe like 24 warriors of light all bundled together. Might pull something off.
This is all my fault. I was convinced it was Ramsa and my father who were bedeviled by the Auracite, when in fact it was me all along. You're wrong, Alma. The Auracite held no power over you. It never did. Your concern for your family was justified, for they allowed their desires to cloud their own judgment. You needn't blame yourself for matters beyond your control. But what of Ramsa? He's gone because he tried to save me. Please, Dermot, you must bring back my brother. I don't know what I would do if I lost him too.
I'll do my best. Coming with?
It was never my intention to deceive you. All right, it was not, until it was. But you must understand that I was only thinking of my people. I've not once held you as an enemy, only an obstacle. And now that I know that to be false, I hope we can work together to save the land from the terrible evil that draws ever nearer.
I hope that as well. Thanks for showing us how to get there. I'm gonna go find a bunch of warriors of light to team up with, improve our odds a little bit, you know. BRB. All right, we are once again joined by a very large gaggle in the dark of night. I don't know why it's always night every time we're outside with a party for this particular raid series. It's fine though. Everyone's gathered, and we're all ready to go for this third, potentially scariest raid wing. I'm a little nervous about this one, but they are going to get me through, and that's what it's all about, really. Okay, so let me pull up a description. The Orbonne Monastery. Beckoned by the Auracite, you arrive at the Orbonne Monastery, vestige of an ancient civilization lost beneath the twisted roots and vines of a forbidden jungle. The Durai papers claim this holy sanctuary to be where the tale of young Ramsa Beelva began. Tonight, it is where your tale ends. But like hopefully in a good way. Let's go! Welcome to the Orbonne Monastery, or the outside of it, rather. This location, as they've kind of made abundantly clear at this point, is a Final Fantasy Tactics location near the end of the game, kind of where the final battles take place. Feels appropriate. Thank you all for joining me, gang, and for preemptively, let me thank you for getting me through this one.
The ruins of the monastery lie ahead, but do not think the path will be easy.
The ether here feels corrupted, Kupo.
Harpies. My sisters would not allow this, unless...
We probably shouldn't go barging in there alone, Kupo.
Fear not. We got you. The harpies aren't too bad, although they do have a gaze attack, I believe, that you do need to look out for. Probably from that weird face on their tummies. Not a fan of the weird face on the tummies. See there, that's what I'm talking about. It's a lot easier to just damage through them these days than it would have been when this first came out. Ooh, a monastic ghost. And skeletons. Oh dear. So the thing that's kind of scary about this one, this particular last wing of the raid, is just that the last two bosses especially have a lot of different moves to keep track of, which is manageable unless you're having to explain them while you're doing it.
Impressive. Perhaps you're deserving of your accolades. But do you have an answer for this mist? Or is it ether?
This all feels familiar, like back in Radarana.
Really enjoying all the rainbows. Only the name of these ruins lives on with my people. We've no knowledge of their past, nor do we wish it. Trespass into the monastery is avoided except when necessary.
I imagine this is what it's like to be swallowed by a Morble, Kupo.
I haven't thought too hard about that before, Mont Blanc. Ahead, I see someone. No, something.
There are traces of ethereal residue here, most likely from Aurosite, Kupo.
And it's going to be our first boss today.
My name is Mustadio Bonanza. No cards here for me.
That'll be a familiar name to Final Fantasy Tactics players. Though, he didn't used to be a mech. Mustadio is one of your kind of like main player characters in Final Fantasy Tactics. An engineer. Fights with a gun. That's going to be relevant to this fight, you'll find. Really appreciate you talking for yourself, Mustadio. Tough break on being a mech. Unless you're into that. Alright, so, this move here. Right hand gun basically just means he's about to do a huge AoE off to its left. Now, left hand gun. Huge AoE off to the left. Gonna have to watch for those throughout the fight. Nothing I cannot fix. Okay, so this is one of the other main ones you want to watch out for. With this move, Maintenance, Mustadio will reactivate some of the kind of like dead bots around the area. Look out. We're being tracked. Anyway, he'll reactivate some of the dead bots around the area, which will then do a big AoE based on their position. So you need to position accordingly. So you've seen two of the major mechanics. I suspect we're about to see the third.
I promise. The promise will save you from what comes next.
Yep. So, we've all been surrounded by these little rings that have an opening in them. And he's about to snipe at us. The rings represent our, like, weak points. So we need to aim, try to position ourselves to where the non-weak point is pointed in his direction.
This be your final testament.
Even if you do it right, it hurts very, very bad. If you do it wrong, you die. It's a pretty unique mechanic. I do like it.
And where might there be often?
So, now the boss has placed some mines on the floor. Don't be near those. Don't step on those. At least these appear to be staying on the field instead of becoming invisible, like some bosses I could mention. All right, now here's another version of maintenance. This time activating some of the mechs that are actually in the arena with us. These are going to do a very large AoE, kind of filling a whole quadrant of the field. Now I hear what some of you are asking. Is there ever a scenario when the boss activates both ones in the arena and outside the arena? Very good guesswork on your part. And yes, I got hit by a handgun. Oh dear. You hate to see it. Ah, there we go. So, lots of stuff being activated. Run, run, run. Faster. Because there's not a lot of safe ground. And oh, that move does hurt very badly. And here comes some more. Okay, this half of the arena around here, and you know what, I'm gonna copy what everyone else is doing. When in doubt, look where the group is running. Odds are good enough of them know what they're doing, that that's a good idea, and you should do as they do. So I didn't really explain this move before, but the ones who are targeted are going to be chased by these little tracking target things. Okay, well, we're combining moves now, aren't we? And they just need to run away from it. All right, where's he going to be? Where's he going? Oh, he's over there. I think I'm doing it. Come on, come on, come on, come on. I live. We all live. Good job, team. Well positioned. Some moves like that of making sure you're pointing the right way in reference to where a boss is pointing. Like, it makes complete sense and it seems very easy in your head, but just in the moment when you're panicking, sometimes.
With this, my journey can, at long last, come to an end.
There's our guy. Okay. That's one boss down. The last time I was here, the only thing holding watch over these stones was a deafening silence. Could it be that guardian rose from its slumber upon sensing your master's aura sight?
The ether here's... Guys, you're talking too much. The ether here's different. Is this joy I feel, Kupo?
When the Empire marched upon Rabanastre, many who lived in the desert fled east to the sanctuary of the jungle. Some who were not turned away by my sisters are said to have taken refuge here.
This wine looks good enough to drink. Do you think we should? No? All right, Kupo.
There, another Lucavi. It appears to be a knight, but how?
There's much pain in the ether here. A great loss, Kupo.
The Beowulf youth guides your fate, but have you the faith to fulfill his legacy?
Now there's a familiar name. And a very cool look. It's Agrias, another playable character in Final Fantasy Tactics. She's rad. We really need to play Final Fantasy Tactics on this channel someday. Again, she doesn't usually look like this. She's much more person-shaped, generally. It's a good look, though. Boy, I'm enjoying all this Final Fantasy Tactics music. I think we might even get some Vagrant Story music later on in this raid. So, with this particular fight, there's kind of two things you need to mostly look out for. Every now and then the boss is going to do some moves that drop these little pools that have shields. Here's one that has a shield. We need to walk into it to get our little duty action going there.
To the current of life we succumb. Its judgment swift and final. Its bite as cold as steel.
we need to use that duty action to protect ourselves from mechanics like Judgment Blade here. You basically need to click it, put up your shield, and not move until you're done defending. Judgment Blade will kill you. So you need to use that shield to protect you from some moves. Not just Judgment Blade, but some others as well. There will be other times when swords appear. The swords are for destroying shields. Maybe there will be an ad that spawns that has a shield around it, making it invulnerable. Maybe your teammates will be trapped inside a barrier that they can't get out on their own and you need to break the shield. That sort of thing.
The hearts of men are black with corruption and must needs be cleansed!
So, she's about to send a third of our group to the Nega Dimension Zone, where they're going to have to fight a whole bunch of ads. And deal with that sword, breaking shields mechanic, and all kinds of stuff. And if they don't get out of there fast enough, they're all going to die. We have our own stuff to deal with. We're going to get ourselves this sword action. Some of our buddies have now been trapped in barriers. We need to use this action to get them out so that they can get away from the big danger puddle AoEs that are aimed at them. I think we're all okay now. By the way, don't do as I'm doing right now. Never stand in front of this boss. The main tank buster attack she does on the main tank isn't single target. It's a big, like, cone swipe AoE in front of her. That'll hit anybody in front of her, and it hurts so bad.
Tremble as the brilliance of 1,000 bolts blinds mine enemies and tears their flesh asunder!
Not a lot of chill on Agrias. Ow. But we have seen most of the scary mechanics now. And they're not even that scary. So long as you know what to do, Agrias isn't too frightening. Not nearly so much as the next two. To the current of life we succumb. It's judgment, so okay, I didn't grab a shield fast enough. Oh, I'm in trouble. You distracted me with text, Agrias, that's not fair. Did I get that up just in time? I don't think so. I took a little vulnerability stack.
The dreams of men are fleeting, yet they must be embraced if they are to flourish.
I'm pretty sure I'd have died if I hadn't gotten something up in time, though, so I don't know. Now we've got some ads that we need to take out. And every now and then, the boss may do a, oh boy, big thing, or this. I'm gonna shield up. Whew. Gonna get another shield if I can. Oh, no, they're gone. Maybe I'll get a sword instead. Let me help out actually killing these things. It's a mean trick, bosses. Tricking me into reading text so you can blindside me with a mechanic that I know how to deal with. Uncool.
They who dwell aloft have spoken. Let their words echo in your empty soul. Ruination is come!
Not a lot of chill on Agrias. We're getting her, though. Oop. Spread out.
Well fought, champion. I leave you now to your quest. My Ophelia awaits.
I like that we get a glimpse of them and the normal way they actually look, just before they disappear.
She was a knight most noble, and her sacrifice will not be forgotten. My sisters will want to know much of her tale, I believe.
You guys are talking so much.
The path ends here, but for that arcane circle. Do you believe it's some sort of gate?
That arcane circle is somehow connected to the aura site. I can feel it, Kupo.
Oh, I like it here. Something here feels different than the monastery above. Otherworldly.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and guess this place is fairly old, Kupo.
Look how cool. Can you not feel it? An evil lurks here, one far beyond our ken.
Might you recall earlier when I said the ether felt corrupted? Well, it's really corrupted now, Kupo.
And now we've got things to fight. Just some trash enemies, mostly. They'll be done quick. A nice little breather before things heat up again. Gorgeous location, though. I like it here. Okay. We've seen this mechanic before. We need this number of people to stand in the thing to prevent ads from spawning. There we go. Well done, crew. Boy, you're a sturdy one for a non-boss. There we go.
Once, when I was very young, I heard the elders speak of a dark city where the horrors that haunt our nightmares dwell. The Necro Hall of Muland.
Muland? Now where have I heard that name before, Kupo?
This guardian, he is not like the first two. We must tread with care, lest our journey meet a premature end.
Your coming was foretold, servant of Ivalice. Or perhaps you serve another. I am Count Sidolphus Orlando. Your journey ends here.
Wait, what is Sid doing down here, Kupo?
Another familiar name, but not face. Sidolphus Orlando, usually much more person-shaped. But even then, in the game, known as Thunder God Sid. Final Fantasy XVI definitely did not invent lightning-powered, very cool Sid.
The hearts of men are black with corruption and must needs be cleansed.
So as you can see, all three of our parties have sort of split up and separated around this arena, and for good reason. There's lots of moves that we're all going to need ample space to dodge.
And tremble as the brilliance of 1,000 bolts blinds mine enemies and tears their flesh asunder.
So you just saw that big sword attack.
Shadows cast, 7 fates foretold, yet at the end of the broken path lies death, and death alone.
And that one. The thing is, this boss does lots of attacks.
And drowned in its loveless embrace, the gods will not be watching.
They do so many attacks, in fact, that it's very difficult to explain one before he's doing the next one. Sid?
Misfortune hangs heavy on a head once held high.
Sid, slow down.
Such is poor cover for when the heavens fall. Come, show me more.
Sid. So, he's got a move called TG Holy Sword that is actually 3 moves in disguise in a trench coat.
Life we succumb. Its judgment swift and final. Its bite as cold as steel.
Because depending on the posture he strikes before attacking, that determines where the swords are going to go and where you need to hide from them. You have too many moves, Sid.
To live by the sword is to die by the sword. There is time enough for regret in the flames of hell.
My gang is doing great. For this move, 3 people need to stand on each of these. And there's one of these, like, there's tons of these around the entire arena.
Cold is the blade that
But our gang is
severs the
very on the ball.
head. Endless is the path that leads him from hell.
Okay. Resha's there is being chased by some very damaging AoE that they're taking far away. Thank you. Ah! Phase 2. Now we've got ads that need taken out. And there are still things we'll need to dodge while we do. Like that. Lent is targeted with something. In fact, someone from every party was. And it kind of leads to 2 successive attacks. One that's directly on the targeted person, one that's sort of a big donut AoE further around them. But one goes off before the other, which tells you whichever one popped up first, position yourself to dodge that one first, and then get ready to dodge the next. Cid has a lot going on. Too much, one might argue. If they were so inclined. He's a fun boss, though.
The god of thunder. Now know why. Upon my holy blade, the very world lies in balance. And now the scales will tip.
What a cool fight. Okay, back to our positions. We still got half the fight to do. Have we seen all the mechanics? No. Okay, see, whenever he points at one of these little circular areas with a sword, don't be standing in that. It's gonna... the huge AoE filling the whole circle. This one is gonna do a big kind of donut AoE all around him. The only safe spot is near him. So you just kind of have to watch if he looks like he's about to do a sword thing.
Were you expecting a modicum of rust?
Alright, Henri's being chased by the big angry AoEs now.
My defense is quite impenetrable. A piteous display.
Okay, for that one, we need to back up, get far away. It's a big spinny sweep attack.
They who dwell aloft have
Alright,
spoken.
don't be in that quadrant.
Let their words echo in your empty soul. Ruination is come.
We're managing. Ow.
Even the strongest of shields cannot defend the weakest of wills. A moment's hesitation beckons a lifetime of pain.
Some big angry things coming up. This is a little too complex to explain, but our group is handling it really well. They're like juggling who is tethered at any given time. So that no one is exposed to too much of the hurt at once. That's a sort of move that it puts some vulnerabilities on you that makes you more susceptible to damage. And the tanks in a lot of fights would normally tackle that, except the tanks are already taking a real beating in this fight, so them becoming more vulnerable, real bad. Look at how huge these AoEs are that folks are having to scatter around. One has to go in at the back edge of every single one of these little circle platforms. You really need team coordination for this one.
Impenetrable.
We've almost got him, though. Fun fact. Cid, in the original Final Fantasy Tactics, is also extremely overpowered.
Clouds have parted, and the skies clear.
Whew.
It is time I bade you farewell.
Good to see you, Cid.
Something is wrong. I sense both anguish and rapture, Kupo.
The mist I sensed before, the ether, its flow is much stronger now. It is almost as if the guardians we defeated were somehow preventing its escape. The ether grows thick. She whom we seek must lie beyond this threshold.
You mustn't fear her. Leave that to me, Kupo.
Is it sanctum you seek, my wayward children? Or perhaps you are come in search of power? That which lies at your feet that blessed bauble can grant you both. You need but will it so. Now, take up your salvation and be gone. Mortal agency in matters divine shall not be suffered.
There's our final boss, Ultima, the High Seraph. The final boss of Final Fantasy Tactics, also a recurring entity in the Ivalice games in general. This incarnation, I believe, is kind of a hybrid of her Final Fantasy Tactics and 12 forms. And she also has too many moves. Oh, right, loot from last fight, I remember. I'm not going to be able to call out all the moves that happen in this fight, in large part because this boss also pulls a lot of moves from previous fights in this raid series. You know, all of those various bosses along the way that I mentioned. Oh, this is an Esper from Final Fantasy Tactics or 12. She contains basically all of the main signature attack powers from them and will throw them at you in rapid succession.
You shall rue the day you raised your eyes to the heavens.
And that's on top of her own things. We won't start seeing the Esper stuff until maybe halfway through the fight. I've been doing a lot of prep and research for each one of these fights before recording it, so I can try to explain everything that's happening and calling out all the moves as they happen. There's too many in this one. I can't actually remember to fight and call them out by name, so I'm just going to try to dodge instead and explain in simplified form.
Your very soul shall not escape.
Grand Cross is one of her big ones, though. It's going to drop these things, 3 of them, and they are each going to shoot out a big cross-pattern AoE that hurt real bad. Observe. So, position accordingly.
Denizens of the abyss, from ink of blackest night.
All right.
I summon you.
So now, the Espers. There's our first one. Remember that one? Femfreet. Femfreet is now going to start calling in some water tornadoes with its viewer thing. Okay, spread that out.
Denizens of the abyss, from ink of blackest night, I summon you.
Now there's Bellius with the old clock move. Stand on the slow one first, then move over, and then keep these spread out too. There we go. Okay.
Denizens of the abyss, from ink
Who's next?
of blackest night, I summon you.
These aren't even happening in rapid succession yet. She's just getting us prepped, teaching us what's happening. So Hashmal's here now. Remember the big towers? They slice, they fall. Be out of their way. All right.
Death awaits defiance.
And now I think they're gonna start rapid firing. Slow first. Then fast. The people who have Doritos need to stack together. Oh, also, that was going on, and now the viewers are falling, and okay. Now there's water tornadoes, and geez, that thing's about to do fire across the whole platform. I'm definitely taking a death on this one. Yeah. It's a lot of moves back to back. Honed is the blade that severs the villain's head. Endless is the path that leads him from hell. Ah, Sid is here. Our gang. It is time to end this. Save us, buds.
Bear your steel.
She weaves her foul magics. Only we can shield you from doom. To me, heroes, to me!
Simmer does the light of life before rising to the heavens in a cleansing conflagration of divine benevolence. Your sins, your souls are undone.
Very cool.
You will not intervene.
So we're just taking a lot of damage in here. The healers are trying to keep up with. And now she's trying to break through the barrier. We need to attack and kill this ruination thing to make sure she can't. There we go. Is it over? The barrier will not last. We must stop her. Such fury. Grah! Now's not the time to stay our blades. Ramsa's here. Children of Hydaelyn, make it swift. You are her only hope. Well, we're in a new place now.
You can claim to have endured the might of my will.
And now we are in the last phase of this fight.
Denizens of the abyss, from ink of blackest night, I summon you.
And she's going to keep on bringing in greatest hits from past fights.
Kneel before me.
These big columns are going to get forecast, but then the boss is going to use various moves that kind of blow them to the east or to the west. So you need to kind of actually position where those things are going to get moved to instead of where they currently are. Just one more mean trick to remember.
Your very soul shall not escape my wrath.
Speaking of which, there's a Grand Cross again, so these are going to get dropped down. But then she's also going to do an eastward march that moves them over. So position here, and then I think we're okay. Yes. We're alive. The real nice thing is if we really beef it now and do like a full party wipe or something, we will restart at this part of the fight, skipping everything prior to the big explosion moment that led us down here. So that's nice, at least. So this is a neat thing where our party members are having to watch for where these little ads are going to fall and land and stand under them to prevent it. Or else we'll all get hurt real bad. So now, mines are being dropped and going invisible, of course. Oh, there's so much to remember and keep track of.
Bend to my will.
And now it's time for a maze. Gotta run through the maze to get to the boss. Every now and then, folks who are targeted with that move need to stop whenever the dice ticks down to 0. Also, we need to watch out for these add AoEs as we run. Ow. We're just getting peppered with all kinds of AoE as we try to run and get to safety here. But we made it. It's just so much to remember and keep track of, but the gang's doing great, and we're almost done.
I see it now. In you.
And there we go!
I am your mother. I am your maker. I am Ivalice. Consign me unto darkness, and your light will be forever lost.
Very well done, gang. Hooray. There's the final raid of the Ivalice series done. Y'all did wonderfully. Thank you so much for carrying me through all these things. Y'all are great. Here's a bunch of fireworks in celebration. I very much appreciate everyone who has joined for these 3 raids and made it possible to do them and make them run so smoothly so that I didn't have to go in with like randos. It's been a very fun event. Thank you all, you're wonderful. All right, let's go see the rest of the story. Oh no, where's Ramza?
He's awake, Kupo. But is it truly him?
Thank you. Thank you all for coming to my aid.
You bet.
Ah, better, Ramza. And you have my thanks, noble warrior of light. You've achieved what I could not. And you, bearer of my blood and the blood of House Durai, thank you for seeing my final wish fulfilled. My sacrifice has finally been given meaning. And there's basically the whole cast of your crew from Final Fantasy Tactics. Now, my friends, let us retire to Mother Heidelund's bosom, that we may finally rest. Farewell. You are the true heroes of this story. Delita, how I've missed you, old friend. Forgive me, Ramza. You deserved better than what history gave you. I could have done more. I am truly sorry. These countless centuries did I long for the day that we might meet once again, and now that time has finally come. Hydaelyn beckons us both. Whew. We made it. Feels good. All right, let me get some tea and say another thank you to all the folks who just joined, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, everyone is properly thanked. Now, let's check in with so many characters. There's so many of you. How are you oh, selected the wrong one.
But they were there, Herdy, clear as day. The hero Ramza and the good King Delita. Why would I lie about something like that, Kupo? My question is, why wouldn't you? Still, after what we've all been through in the past few days, I might be willing to give you the benefit of the doubt. This time, Kupo.
Derman, it's almost sad to see our quest come to an end, though we have given the land's scholars much to consider. Sharlayan will have to open a school of Evolution studies, are we to keep up?
I'd love that. Please tell me what all you find out. I love this setting.
Despite what Lady Fran says, I had no doubt that you would come through in the end. It's been an honor, Derman. I only wish Bagamnan were here with us to celebrate this day.
I owe you an apology, Derman. I was wrong to doubt you. Whether it be in a council room or on the field of battle, you've proven yourself more than worthy of the many praises the bards sing. I'm glad to have counted you an ally, for I would not wish you upon even my worst enemy.
It's kind of you to say. I would check in with all of these, with our actors and crew, but there are so many. And these episodes have been so long. You're alive! Oh, but of course you are. You'd think that after this many triumphs, one might grow tired of saving the world. Consider us all fortunate that you've not. Boy, that's true. Y'all'd be in such trouble. And here we are, Derman. I cannot thank you enough for all you've done for my family. And that's before you saved me from the High Seraph. You are welcome. And a little nicer these days, I notice. Appreciate it.
You rescued my brother, and for that I shall ever be indebted to you. You'll be in my heart always, Derman.
I'm so sorry, Ramza. Alma. I convinced myself my research was the most important thing in my life. All the while, you two were standing before me. Can you find it in your hearts to forgive your father?
It's all right. We're still here, are we not?
And we triumphed. We proved your theory true. Ivalice existed. Ramza existed. And Aran Durai was not a heretic, but a hero. Now all that remains is to tell the world. No, my son. We needn't burden ourselves further. But, Father, we cannot allow our ancestors' name to remain... And we will not. Yet simply not in the manner you think. I shall be adding a final act to the Zodiac Brave story, telling of how Ramza, the forgotten hero, and his chronicler, Aran Durai, smote the Angel of Blood and saved Ivalice from an age of darkness, before quietly embarking on a final journey that would take them far beyond the horizon. And of course I shall not leave out those nameless heroes who fought alongside Ramza, without whom the young noble would have surely perished.
Is that what you truly want, Father? For the story to end?
It will only end on the stage, my dear, and live on in the hearts of the crowd.
King Delita and Orin envisioned the Virgo as a beacon which would lead future generations to the truth about the founding of their kingdom. They were right, and just as the pendants guided us, now we shall guide the masses through our play. And now you see, my son. I would offer you my thanks again, Derman, but thanks are not nearly enough to express my gratitude for all you've given us. Perhaps after I complete the Zodiac Brave story, I shall pen a tale about the legendary Warrior of Light and his adventures across the 3 great continents. Then you'll have your work cut out for you, my friend. Derman has enough battles under his belt to fill at least 3 tomes, if not 4.
Would you stop doing that, Sid?
And his tale is far from over, isn't it? That is true. There's so much game left. So much good game left. Boy, packed house tonight, huh? All right, this is our final dress rehearsal for the night. Make it count. Positions, everyone. Yes, Principal. Lights, music. There will be no more mistakes from you two. Am I clear?
Mother crystal clear, Kupo.
They're going to perform the new final act. Begin! Whatever will we do? The Church has branded us heretics. No home awaits us in Ivalice. We shall embark on a journey together.
Together.
Together. The crystal's call has been answered and evil vanquished from the land. We are now free to soar like the griffin. Free? But how? By casting off our noble names and forging a new path, one not bound by fate. And on that path, we shall meet new friends, make a new family. And unto them we shall entrust the true tale of our deeds, that they may carry on our legacy, for all eternity. Sword in hand, a warrior clutches stone to breast. In sword etched his fading memories. In stone he tempered his skill. By sword attested, by stone revealed. Their tale can now be told.
Bravo, bravo!
You both were wonderful. I'm inclined to agree with Lady Murala's sentiments, but there is always room for improvement. Back to your positions, everyone. Again from the top.
Again! I've had enough of this. I was promised a starring role, Kupo. It is in my contract. Oh, hush, brother, before Jedabus has us back to polishing boot buckles again.
Silent laughing is weird.
Meanwhile, in the clockwork city of Gog. Well, sir, further research will be required to reach a positive conclusion, but preliminary tests show that the technology utilized here bears striking similarities to our own. Excellent. Let the Eorzeans play with their baubles. True power lies within these very walls. It appears our ancestors were as cunning as they were ruthless. Who is this now? A weapon powerful enough to carve a gateway to the land's very core. His radiance will be eager to test this Tartarus. Wouldn't you all agree? This character's an antagonist in Final Fantasy XII, by the way. Just another character just ripped straight out of it. I don't know if they've ever surfaced again. I do know for a fact that a lot of the Ivalice settings and such that have been introduced to the game here don't go away. We're not done with Ivalice in Final Fantasy XIV by a long shot, but I don't know. I've not done a lot of that stuff myself, so I don't know how many of those elements come forward and how many of them just kind of get dropped after this point. I hope the new act was to your liking. It may well still change, seeing as we have yet to finish our rehearsals, but I believe Father has another masterpiece on his hands. I've always admired my father, but never more than I do now. I finally have come to understand why it was so important for him to tell the tales that he did, even if those actions did see him driven from his home. Still, I worry that we may never find our place here in this foreign land, that our voices may never be heard. Everything we knew is gone. Everything we worked for, behind us. Will the people of Othard and Aldenard accept us for what we offer, in spite of who we were? Will they flock to our stage to hear our stories? Will they laugh at our jests and weep for our losses? I know it's childish to fret over such matters, but perhaps I am still a child, desperate for the acceptance of strangers, despite the fact I'm already accepted by my friends and family. Something happened that day I laid hands on my mother's necklace. My father would have me believe it was the hero Ramses Orisite, the Virgo, that dispelled the fear and hate in my heart and replaced it with love. I'd like to believe that it was not only the Holy Stone, but me, growing up. Journeying to a new land, meeting new people, learning of new cultures and customs. These things ignited a flame inside me, a flame of change. You, Mont Blanc, Herdy, Mikoto, Master Sid, Wagi, Fran, even Lena. You've all helped fan that flame, that they may rise into a conflagration to burn away the old Ramsa, leaving what stands here before you now. My father spoke of one day authoring a play that would chronicle your adventures. I believe I'll tell him to abandon that endeavor, for I wish to author it myself. That is, if you will allow it. You're welcome here any time, Durbin, and I hope that you'll take time to visit and tell us more of your deeds. I shall be waiting. Boy, put on some tea and make time. You've already got a lot of notes to start taking. Thanks are not nearly enough for all you've provided us, but sadly they are all I have to offer. Thank you, Derman. You watched our rehearsal, so you witnessed firsthand the fruits of my father's labor. It's now on us, the players, to see their seeds cast across the realm. From fleeing the Empire to searching for a new audience. From finding the truth of our ancestors, to bringing back my mother, to saving my brother. Many paths were walked on this journey, but ultimately they all led here. Was it merely the Orisite that guided us to the Orbonne Monastery? Or was it, dare I say, fate? Our exile, our arrival in Hingashi, my father's disappearance. Without even a single one of these things, our paths may not have crossed. If that's not fate, then... Well, now that Ramses' desire has been fulfilled, the Orisite set in this necklace appears to have lost its blessing.
Perhaps it's for the best, but I'm simply glad that a piece of my mother remains. I shall not say farewell, for I would not have this meeting be our last. Allow me instead to offer a prayer. Mother, abandon not your wayward children of Ivalice, but deliver us from our sins that we might know salvation.
I appreciate that. Good hanging out with you.
I owe you an apology, Derman. I was wrong to doubt. I think you said all this earlier.
Yes. Oh, this is new, though.
In fact, our paths may cross again sooner than expected. I received word earlier from both the Eorzean Alliance and Doma that they have agreed to assist Lente's Tears, though not in the manner my leader first sought. They'll be providing refuge for those displaced by the fighting. Children, elderly, the wounded. I've been assured that all are welcome. Unlike our demand for soldiery, both Lady Tataru and Lady Yugiri seemed much more amicable to this request. Perhaps they remembered how only recently Eorzea received refugees fleeing from Doma and Alamigo, and perhaps it was I who reminded them. As for now, I must return to Dalmasca with these tidings, and somehow not only convince the myriad resistance factions to cease their infighting, but also cooperate in the organization of a method in which refugees might be transported safely across the borders. Needless to say, I have my work cut out for me. But even then, this is only the beginning. Once the refugees are safe, there's still a war to be fought, and won. And when that time comes, do not be surprised when I come again calling.
Please do.
If Bagamnan were here, he'd smile and slap us both on the back. You'd probably fall on your face. I miss the captain. I am not as optimistic as my brothers as to our chances of meeting again, but know this, Derman. I will not forget you, and hope that maybe you will say the same.
It's been an honor to serve one as brave and just as you, Derman. I only hope my contributions to this most recent endeavor have proven of value. Before this assignment, I would spend my days alone in the library, poring over texts, learning of others' accomplishments, but never recording any of my own. But witnessing you and all you've achieved in our short time together has inspired me. When I return to Sharlayan, I'll put in a request with the students of Valdezian for an increase in field research. But I think I shall start with something in Lower Lenosha. Thank you, Derman.
I wonder if I run into you again. Lots of things I don't know, but look forward to finding out. Is there anyone else here, or do I need to, Yeah, I think I need to head out. Well, I'll say bye to you too.
Principal Genomus has agreed to give me an actual role in the play. It is not Mont Blanc who stands before you, Kupo, but Isilud Tengil, the most handsome and noble and handsome of the Knights Templar, who has all of 2 lines before he must return to his proper place backstage working the lights. Do not forget that, Kupo.
Well, it's a place to start. Lena, where are you? Ah, farewell to you.
It won't be simple uniting the factions, but when has war ever been simple? Once we are a united front, we still have to figure out a means of besting the most powerful army in the world, and if by some miracle we achieve that, then we have an entire nation to rebuild, starting with a smoldering heap I used to call home. But, then again, it sure feels better than being a sky pirate. Let the next time we meet Derman be in the Desert Sapphire near the Royal Dalmascan Standard.
I'd like that. Fingers crossed.
Reports are that the 4th Legion has marched on Valnain, making the commercial center their new temporary base of operations. If that is so, then that is where we strike next. We had our past misgivings, Derman, but in the end we all learned to work for the same cause. I hope we can do so again soon.
Me too. But okay, I gotta go. It's been a long one. Ah, there you are.
Well, wasn't that an adventure, Derman? It's sad to think that we must soon part ways, what with all we've been through these past few moons. Satisfied with the city's unwillingness to turn him over to the Garleans, Genomus has decided to purchase a permanent berth above Kugane for the Prima Vista. Supposedly, he's already received petitions from hundreds of Geiko and Gainen to join the company. And then there's the matter of my assignment. You'll be delighted to learn that I am almost finished. What? How do you expect one to write an expose when off battling forces of evil from beyond the void? Don't you worry, though. A few more weeks and I'll have a draft. All right, an outline. Until then, I'll stay in here in Kugane a while longer.
At the Raven's expense, of course. Farewell. And farewell to you. Well, I hope that you have all enjoyed our time in Ivalice. But I think it's time for us to get back to our time here in Eorzea. And, well, this isn't technically Eorzea, the continent, but you know, this world, the 14 you know what I mean, 14 stories. So let's get back to some 14 stories next time, huh? Take care until then, everybody. And I'll see you later. Goodbye!